Welcome back to another tutorial. So this dress, it can be for an adult, it can be for children, but I'll be making a small size of it so that I won't be using much fabric. The upper part of this dress is draped on the dress form, so just watch how I did it. It's not something I can really explain because I didn't really work with specific measurements. I simply just draped it on the dress form. So watch how I draped it carefully. After draping it, this is what it looks like. So I've removed it from the dress form and I've placed it on my lining. I'll go ahead and cut the same shape on the lining. I've placed the right side of the fabric on the lining. Then I'll be using the 0.5 inch to sew all the edges except for this center front. After sewing it, I'm going to turn it over. This is the fabric for the neckline. So I'm going to sew it 0.5 on the edge and turn it inside out. So I've gone ahead to join the center front. After turning the fabric inside out, I've joined the center front and I left a small hole to pass this fabric for the neckline. So I'll pass the fabric for the neckline into that small hole I left out. So I'm going to sew the band on the waistline. I'll be using 0.5 to sew that. After sewing the band, I'm going to cut the fabric for the back. So this fabric, I'm going to cut it longer than this front piece by 1 inch. So I'll be using ½ inch to tidy the upper part and ½ inch to tidy and ½ inch at the lower part to sew it into the gathered fabric. So let's assume the side is 4 inches. I'm going to cut 5 inches for the back piece. I'm talking about the length. Then the width is according to your discretion, according to your body measurements. I've gone ahead to cut lining for it, the same size. I'm going to cut this short fabric and use it to make the loop for the back piece. So I have like 2.5 inches by 4 inches thereabouts. So I'm going to sew it, turn it inside out and use it to make my loop for the back. Loop, because this is a small size, I'm going to have 2 loops on both sides of the back. For the strap for the neckline, I'm going to be using press button to put them together as my fastener. So after making the 2 loops at the back, I'm going to place the loops on the fabric. I'm going to place it on the right side of the fabric. I've gone ahead to sew it. Then I'm going to turn it inside out. I didn't sew the down part of the back because I'll be attaching my gathers on it. So I'll do that for the 2 pieces for the back. Then I'm going to flip it over. The right side is facing the right side of the front piece, and then I'm going to sew it by the side. I'll do the same for the second side too. So this is what it looks like after joining both sides. So I'm confirming the length I have here to be sure everything is okay. Remember, you have to make this shorter than your normal bust or waist circumference. You're going to be using rope to tie it at the back. This is not zip, so you have to make it a little bit shorter than your normal circumference that you need. This is the fabric for the gathers. So I've gone ahead to cut it and to cut the lining. So the lining, I'm going to be removing 1 inch from the length of the lining because I want to use the lining to turn it, and I want the lining to be shorter than the fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and use the lining to turn the fabric. This fabric is short. I'm going to add more by the sides to make it very long. So I'll just place it on the lining, right side of the fabric on the lining, and then I'll tidy it. I'll sew down the hem first. I'll put them together and sew down the hem first by 0.5. Then I'll shift it up a bit and sew the side, and then go ahead and gather the top. The same way we use lining to turn fabric, the same process. So I'm going to gather it into this upper part of the dress. So it could be a top for you, for an adult. It could also be a top for a child, however you want it. This is just to guide you on how to make it. You can make whatever you want. So I'm going to leave a little space here. Remember, I made the top part shorter than what I need. So this gathered part has to be exactly the circumference of the waist.